Hey everybody, this is Marian Cowing Owen.
And this is David Owen.
And this is You Show Me Yours, the podcast where a married couple talks about the movies and TV that they loved before the first date. And today, I got to watch the cutest movie ever, The Adventures of Milo and Otis.
Yes.
It was adorable.
It is, yes. The Adventures of Milo and Otis is the 1986, we'll say, film. It was originally released in Japan. Some of the information, even though it was not called The Adventures of Milo and Otis in Japan, some of the information kind of steps on itself on the internet when you're looking this movie up. So 86, maybe the American release was 88. It's hard to tell. I'm sure if I put 5 more minutes of research into it, I could find out. But yeah, this was it was Japanese. It was originally directed by Masanori Hata, which they spent 4 years apparently filming a lot of footage. And the American version kind of took bits and pieces of that footage and formed not a completely new narrative, but a different narrative for the American version.
Okay.
Slightly different narrative for the American version. And it's still, the same beats.
Yeah.
But basic beats. But yeah. So it's a movie about a cat and a dog going on an adventure. And it's narrated by Dudley Moore, and
who is not someone that I thought I'd want to spend this much time with, but
oh yeah,
because I don't have a whole lot of exposure to his work, but I thought of him as just kind of annoying.
Oh no, he's great.
But this is adorable.
Yeah, he does a great job. Yeah, like really great job. He does all the voices. It's a sort of an old Thomas the Tank Engine kind of thing, where there's a single narrator who does all of the voices for all the animals and all the characters, and he's got little different accents and voices for stuff. Yeah, but it's a kids movie through and through, super cute, and because of that, we brought our son William on to watch it with us and give us some comments. So why don't we throw over to the three of us talking about this movie? All right, welcome, William.
Hi, it's me. It's been a while.
Yes.
It has, that's right.
A long while.
Yeah, well, yeah, we thought it's been a little while, so we should get an episode with you. Well, one of our most popular episodes is the Return to Oz episode, which you're on.
Yay, so, I'm famous.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, The Adventures of Milo and Otis.
Yes.
You want to field some questions? Do you have some initial thoughts on the movie? What's your...
Yeah, I liked it. It's cool.
Yeah, it's
and
cool.
I like it because it's like with there wasn't any CGI in it. So it was like, especially like the bear part, that was cool. Because they would have to train that bear to like do what it's doing.
Yeah. Yeah, well, all the animals were probably pretty well trained.
Yeah.
What's your favorite character? Like main character between Milo and Otis. Who are you picking?
I mean, I'm kind of biased because I'm a cat fan, but
yes. We had a dog named Otis.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Yeah, so we're fans of all, really.
Yeah. I like both.
Okay. Well, who is your favorite character they met along the way?
The one where I've multiple.
Okay.
So at the start of the movie, the one where it's doing the bird, and Miles is like,
the little bird.
Yeah, and he's like smacking in the smacking their mouth.
Yeah.
So that was funny.
The baby bird. Yeah.
And then I also liked the what's it called? Like the little raccoon. That was funny.
The raccoon.
Yeah. That was funny.
Yeah.
And the what's like the porcupine that was trying to get the egg.
Try to steal the egg. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also like the sea turtle.
Yeah, he was pretty cool. He was pretty cool.
Yeah.
He had a pretty good, fully fleshed out personality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how much character the narrator, Dudley Moore, was able to put into the animals in a short time just by doing a certain accent.
Yeah, especially like the fox.
Yeah.
I feel like he had like an Australian kind of accent.
Kind of, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or even the hedgehog or the porcupine, like you mentioned, he's like "What do you want, you cruddy egg?"
Yeah.
You know, like you just kind of knew he was maybe like a rough character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what else you got? You have any other standout moments? You like the trained bear?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. There were multiple. It looked like there were multiple bears because there were black bears and brown bears.
Yeah.
There was the bear at the hut, which looked like a brown bear, and then there was the bear they fight in the river, which was pretty cool. Yeah, so lots of trained bears, lots of trained cats and dogs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now our listeners know that we have 2 cats. Jeeves is grown up and Gertie is still kind of kitten. Do you think that they would make a good movie of their adventures together?
Yeah, the adventures. Yeah, like the scene when they were kids, Milo and I was gonna say Stitch for a second. Milo and Otis. Oh, Gertie.
Mhm.
Milo and Otis when they were fighting.
Yeah.
That reminded me of Jeeves.
Yeah,
And
they play
Gertie.
fight. Yeah, a lot.
And especially like when they kind of like it's like threw them like rolled over. They do that.
Our cats definitely do that. But then they had scenes when Milo and Otis just cuddled together. We don't have so much of that, but we're getting there.
A few times.
Yeah, every now and then.
But I feel like that would be good. Just like that would be a good movie. Adventures of Gertie and Jeeves.
Yeah.
Jeeves is just like he has to like go get his like. Okay, so this is kind of a bit gross, but so it's about him retrieving the poop that was drained.
Oh.
That was so while we were watching the movie.
Oh.
So I guess Jeep went to the bathroom and there was some brown stuff on dragging by Mom's hair on his butt.
Yes, he had a piece of poop
Yeah.
attached to him by what appeared to be your mother's human hair.
Yeah.
That
Which
he
he
has
somehow ingested. Yeah.
Which is difficult not to do, probably. There's a lot of it around.
That just reminded me of that.
So they're going, but they're going on a quest to retrieve the piece of poop.
Yeah, so he can go bury it.
To clean up after him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a good message.
They probably just have to go to like the other side of the living room, though.
Yeah, but like there's gonna be me. Because I terrorize Jeeves with my craziness sometimes.
You're going to be the bear, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I just point out that we don't have cat poop all over the house? Like, we're going to clean it up as soon as we find it.
We have cat barf.
Oh, my God.
It's not cat barf. It's pre-moistened food.
Yeah.
You guys.
Barf is like liquid.
Sometimes the cat food is a little too hard and dry, so they eat it once, then to moisten it.
Yeah.
Guys.
And they put it back out.
Could you be less disgusting?
No. All right, let's save your mom from the disgustingness.
Okay.
Would you recommend this movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
But one thing that was kind of like, oh wow, was that showed them actually giving birth at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you get to see one live cat and one live dog birth.
Being birthed.
Yes, just a single one. There's like 8 kittens, but you only see one of them birthed.
Mm-hmm.
But so if you've ever wondered what that looks like,
it's literally just like every other mammal birth.
Well,
sure.
Yeah.
They just come out the anus. No, I'm kidding. I mean,
William, do we need to go over this again?
No, we don't. Please, no. I don't want to see that again.
Well, then don't deliberately say incorrect things.
I forgot, Mom.
So some of the other movies that we've watched, Dad said he remembered it being scary, and you said they're not scary. So kids of different generations have different feelings about movies. Do you think today's kids would like this?
I mean, I liked it, so
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, like, don't put a bunch of 15-year-olds watching it, but some younger kids, they would probably like it.
15-year-olds are all pretending to be cool, so they can't admit that they enjoy this. But you can.
It's like you're just the parents of a 15-year-old, and they're cool, but then you enter their room, you just see Dora posters. They're just snuggling with their teddy bear.
Yeah. We won't tell.
Yeah.
Well, you have anything else to add? Any parting thoughts? I think we got your recommendation. We got your favorite stuff. Yeah.
it's good. I liked it.
All right. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing more to say.
Yeah.
Thumbs up for all, I think.
Thumbs up.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Thanks, William. See you next time.
No, I don't want to leave. Please, no. I want to keep being famous. No.
Maybe next time.
Oh.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
And we're back in the studio. Let's call it the studio. So it was awesome having William on. He really enjoyed the movie. He needed he likes a little bit of the spotlight every now and then to perform. So
he does. Yeah.
Thank you for indulging him.
Yes.
But yeah, I guess we can get on to talking about our thoughts on the movie now. It's super cute.
It's adorable. Well, and because I noticed there were some shots of the various animals together, but more of them were solo shots.
A lot of that.
And I was imagining, how did they create a narrative out of this? I assume for the footage that was shown, that was like 10% of what they shot. And they formed a narrative out of the footage that they had. So it's fascinating to think of how the storytelling happened here.
Oh yeah. And I'd love to see the Japanese version. The Japanese version is translates into a kitten story. When I imagine the cut of that is a little bit more Milo-centric, although this movie is already pretty Milo-centric. Milo is the cat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Otis has his time, but
Otis is kind of like the friend who goes off. And Milo is the main character.
Yeah, and he's the instigator of all the action and everything. You get the feeling like, I mean, I read a little bit about the filming of this, but not a ton. But you get the feeling like they had a loose narrative. I believe it's based on a story or a poem or something. I'm not sure. Japanese source. And yeah, they had these beats they wanted. Like they knew they know the cat. The thing that sparks off the adventure is Milo gets in a box that is kind of attached to a dock, a wooden box, and it breaks free and he goes down the river, and Otis follows to try to save him. He has various encounters while he's on the river, including a bear who tries to eat him. So you get the idea they had these beats. Like they knew where they were going. Yeah. But I think a lot of it was just, we're just going to put these animals together and just see what happens.
And come up with dialogue that might match their various facial expressions or whatever.
Yes, and probably now seems as good a time as any to quickly address the animal cruelty concerns surrounding this movie. It's difficult to research this movie without coming across various allegations and concerns, including multiple kitten deaths and just general lack of supervision. There was no humane society, whatever the Japanese equivalent is. There were no observers, humane observers to keep the animals safe. The original Japanese version apparently contains footage in which the animals are clearly injured or hurt. And there are scenes where you think, like, how did they not? Like, they had a cat and a bear, like, fighting, and a raccoon and a bear, literally, like, the bear is slapping at it with its claws. Like, animals had to have been injured. This isn't, like, you can't make this movie now at all. If you made it, it'd be 100% CG. Like Will was saying, he liked that there was no CG. But yeah, you can't make this today just because it's not safe. Like I wouldn't want this movie made today. I can enjoy it as a time capsule in part because up until 20 minutes before we watched it, I didn't know any of these allegations. Yeah. So I have a nostalgia and an affinity for this movie that predates my knowledge of the animal cruelty allegations and everything. And yeah, just from watching the movie, that I 100% believe that animals were injured things weren't done in the most humane way. Oh yeah. Cause I know, you can train even bears and some animals, but you can only train them so well. And if their instinct is to eat a cat and the cat is right there, like, I don't trust any bear to be that well trained. Right. I mean, they say with trained animals like that, you make sure that they're well fed, and like animals don't just eat for sport. Like they eat when they're hungry. So if but at the same time, every now and then a well-fed tiger rips a magician's face off. Well, or, if they feel threatened, then they're going to swipe and maybe not eat, but injure. And,
I think it was the bear and the cat scene. I was like, how did they do this? Did they have a cat who was terminally ill anyway? But no, they can't do that. Like,
also, they just throw a cat off a cliff in this movie. And our son was like, that's the doll. And we had to be like, it's moving. And then after it hits the water, there's a single cut. There's a single take, no cut.
Yeah.
And then you can see the cat emerge and start swimming. Like, no, like maybe they didn't throw it from the top of the cliff because they kind of pick up about halfway down from the jump. But yeah, they threw that cat into the ocean. So, you know.
Well, and frankly, as far as cats go, you're in the water. You're in a box in the water. Like,
right.
I don't think either of our cats would like that at all.
I mean, at the very like first, if there's a cruelty index, right? Most of the scenes with the cat in the box exist on that first level because the cat's clearly calling out for help. Yeah, the whole time it's meowing. It's doing a distressed meow. The whole time it's in the box on the river. So yeah, and that's something that you maybe have to consider before watching this movie. Is that something that you can live with, or are you going to be like me and just sort of sidestep it and claim nostalgia? Like, it's a difficult subject. So yeah, an extremely controversial movie at the time. I think probably when it was released in Japan, especially if it had scenes of actual animal injuries in it. And then there's just other things like we said with Will, like there's straight up cat and dog birth in this movie. They don't show them humping, but that might have been in the Japanese version. Yeah. It's both the cat and the dog pair up with females of their own species, and then they're like, and they found a cave to live in for the winter. And I'm like, I wonder. And then there's a shot of a stalactite slowly dripping water. And I'm like, time passed. Well, and when Otis comes across his mate, Sandra, who seems like a lot. I wouldn't want to deal with her. I was like, she looks pregnant. Are we going to go that route? Like, she looks sort of thick already. And then, but then we see her toward the end of her pregnancy, and I was like, oh, that's super pregnant. Yeah. I felt like, the romance part felt a little tacked on. I could have done without that. I could have done it's just two bachelor dogs on an adventure and they come home. But I think that there's a cut of that because Milo, but they probably needed the time. That's the thing. Like, it's simultaneously they needed that story arc because they had probably a bunch of footage of it, and it's an moment when all the puppies and kittens come together and play and all that stuff. But if they've cut this movie down from I think a solid hour and a half in the Japanese version to about 75 minutes in the American version, and so that's a lot that they've cut out. You got to assume that's a lot of the more questionable animal stuff, and there's a cut of this movie that you could make where Otis saves Milo from the pit by pulling him out with the rope, and then they're like, all right, let's go home. And then they meet Joyce, the female cat. And then that leads to a rift between Milo and Otis goes his own way. Then he meets Sandra, and then they come back together in the spring. So there's a whole act basically that they could cut out. But they would have to have been able to either have more access to the raw footage pre-edit in the Japanese version. Like if they shot this movie for 4 years, which they shot this movie for 4 years, then they had to have hundreds of hours of film. Yeah. And also that's the thing, they shot this on film for 4 years.
Jeez, I can't imagine going through that.
How you would edit this, in a pre-edit digital editing world, how you would edit 4 years worth of footage into an hour and a half movie. And then I'm assuming the Americans were just given the cut of the Japanese cut and told to make an American story out of it. Yeah. Something the Americans would. I kind of want to see a making of version of this. Yeah, for sure. So it's really weird because you could end this movie at the 55-minute mark with Milo and Otis triumphantly going back to the farm and take out the female characters and the kittens and puppies and be done with it. Yeah. But you'd lose so much from the movie. But it's simultaneously needed to pad the time and rushed.
Yeah.
Like it's somehow filler and not enough of it to really flesh out the whole arc.
Yeah, it's not enough for a full act, but it's more than you need for a one act play. Yeah. Well, and because we're introduced to Milo and Otis when they're a puppy and a kitten, and then they've grown up a little bit.
Yeah.
We don't know exactly how much, but I still, like, I imagine they're like she's technically a kitten, but she's 10 months, 9 months, whatever old. So like she's almost full grown. She could probably reproduce at this point.
Right.
So like they're about that age. So young, but technically full grown.
Yeah.
And so to see, so in my head, they're like our son's age.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, they're settling down already. That's, oh my gosh.
But really, they're like 22 or 25.
You need to live on your own. And like we were saying to him earlier today, you need to take risks and have some fun before you're tied down.
Well, I mean, technically, look at the adventure that they went on.
That's true. That's true.
You know, and if they were on that adventure for spring or like summer into fall and then into the winter,
that's true.
They spent a third of their life potentially on this river adventure.
And Otis ended up with his foreign babe. So, that's,
And they're French children. Yeah. So this movie, just listening to it, like absent the context of what happened, we've just talked about dogs and cats getting married and, all sorts of crazy stuff.
But back to the birth scenes, though.
Yes.
That was like, I mean, I knew what was coming, but even so, I was very surprised. I was like, oh, that's a cat vag right there. That's okay.
I wonder if that is a side effect of the lack of restrictions that were on the filming in Japan at the time. Would an American movie show a live kitten birth?
Yeah, I don't know.
An American children's movie, like I don't even like. They could have edited it out. You know, like there's an edit where it just there's a shot of the dog panting and then licking a messy.
Yeah, like you don't
puppy.
need a close up on the gonads and the birth canal and
But you get it.
But you get it. Yeah, I imagine there were some uncomfortable conversations on the ride home from the theatrical release of this.
Potentially. I wish I could remember what my reaction was, because I'm pretty sure we saw this in the theaters. I would have been, if the American release was 86, I would have been 7. If it was 88, I would have been 9. Yeah. So either way, an awkward time to have the conversation.
At that age, though, I think you should know the basics of, but a lot of kids do not. I am horrified to learn the number of parents who were like, well, she's only 11, so we haven't told her anything yet. Are you, what? That's derelict. But anyway, different subject.
And we had friends with puppies, with dogs that had puppies, and I think we had maybe by that time had a cat that had kittens. So it was this was not a mystery to me. I understood where kittens came from.
Although, as I can illustrate, even if you know everything that's happening, to see it right up close is still like, whoa.
You're like, whoa, hey, what's going on there?
Like,
they went there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this movie is fun. It's not all live animal births. It's
yeah, that's, if you want to, you can probably predict when it's coming up and you can be like, hey, honey, can you go get something from the kitchen? I'll tell you if you miss anything. Okay. Oh, look, puppies.
I'm sure there's a helpful website out there that has a timestamp for, if you want to skip the live animal birth.
Yes. To be clear, we recommend explaining birth to your children.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But this is very in your face. And if you are not ready for that,
if this is the catalyst for the conversation, so be it.
Then great.
Yeah, hopefully, they at least understand.
Our 11, almost 12-year-old was not scarred by that at all. He was just kind of like, oh, wow, okay, that's what that is. But that was it. So it's not scary. It's just very vivid.
Yeah, but there's a lot of shenanigans in this movie. There's a lot of really cute moments.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of good characters.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely something we should take a few minutes to talk about. There are good momentary characters, like Will said he liked the kind of Cockney porcupine, the hedgehog that's in it for a minute trying to steal an egg.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good Dudley Moore bird and chicken impressions.
Yeah.
a lot of a cat, a cat, a cat, like
Yeah.
like very good sort of crowing cat. And yeah, there's I think it's pretty unanimous that we all like the deer a lot. Will didn't mention the
was
deer.
adorable. Yeah,
The deer
I
is
like
great.
the deer.
As a kid, the deer was always my favorite, because at the time, I think around probably the same time I saw this movie, I was starting to see some like British humor, not necessarily Monty Python, but like Faulty Towers and like PBS stuff.
Yeah.
Are You Being Served? Like stuff like that. And so it was like, it felt very, when the deer is showing Milo how to bound and leap. And there's a line that to me feels incredibly British, like incredibly British comedy.
Yeah.
Where he's continuing to explain. And he says, you bound and then, of course, leap. It's just such a very like British delivery. Of course, it's Dudley Moore.
Yeah.
But yeah, just bound and then, of course, leap. I just, as a kid, I would say that all the time.
What struck me as funny is I've seen our cats bound.
Yeah.
So it's not like cats can't do it, but I guess they just bound once.
Yeah, it's not a deer.
And then as the deer says, "Oh well, I guess it is rather tiring."
Yes.
So whatever it says.
Yeah, the deer is great.
Yeah.
The fox is another favorite.
Yeah.
I like the fox a lot. The turtle.
I like the pigs.
The pigs are good. Yeah. Yeah, the pigs, Milo meets a pig that's trapped. It's night. There are screech owls about.
Do screech owls eat pigs?
I mean, I think they eat anything in theory they can get their claws on, maybe up to and including small, small.
So, okay, question. So Milo finds himself in a bird's nest.
Yes.
And the bird says, "What are you doing? Hiding from the screech owls?" And I was like, "Isn't that an owl?"
Not a screech owl.
Okay. But all owls will eat cats, though, right?
I mean, possibly.
Okay.
I mean it was some kind of an owl, maybe like I don't know, like a barn owl or something. Maybe it was an owl that maybe was smaller and it was more of a rodent.
Okay.
Owl.
I was like, where are we going with this? This owl is going to trick Milo into staying into the nest, and then
sleep in this nest.
Sleep here where you have the dreams. Like you might dream that an owl is eating you, but it's just a dream, so it's fine. And I was glad when it did not turn out to be that, because that would scar your child.
Yeah, that's a very like mystical sort of moment in the movie where this owl is like, oh, that's the dreamer's bed. Right. That's the dreamer's nest.
Yeah.
Anyone who sleeps in that bed will have dreams. Maybe good, maybe bad.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Ooh.
And yeah, and he has dreams. Yeah, he has dreams when he sleeps in the nest. Yeah. And the pig wakes him up. Yeah. I don't know that a piglet of that size is under any direct threat. I bet a smaller piglet, like closer to a newborn piglet, would be under threat from an owl. But yeah, the pigs are all good. All the barnyard animals.
Oh yeah, they're all adorable.
I can't remember the name of the chicken that asks him to babysit. She's like, there's a whole
Gloria.
I think there's a whole story. Like she's pecked her way to the top of the coop, and she has her first egg, and then immediately abandons it.
Yeah.
Although I love the gossips.
Is she going to go back to work, or is she going to stay home and take care of it? Yeah. And I was like, well, her work kind of is staying home and taking care of it. It was fine.
But she apparently chooses neither and just leaves it for a cat and a dog to babysit. Mm-hmm. She doesn't seem to go back to work having more eggs.
An amazing self-restraint. Neither of them eats the chick.
Yes. That's a cute scene when the chick, and there's a lot of stuff like that. Like a lot of this is almost like a really good nature documentary for kids, because it has these moments like a live chick birth, the animal births, and the various, interactions talking about things like, the owls, like there's kind of like a lot of good sort of teaching moments about nature, circle of life stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and then Milo and Otis are usually filmed looking very intently at the, like, oh, look, the cat is interested in this. Let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm. And there's several times different things try to eat Milo. A snake tries to eat him when he's in a tree, tries to attack him. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of crazy stuff.
You can kind of see the animal cruelty
Oh yeah, yeah.
everywhere.
I mean,
but
even
everyone turns on.
it even persists in the cut that we get, just in the small things. Like I already talked about the stage 1 stuff, with just the animals are being put in distress. But even small stuff like a crab claws the lip of the cat, the nose of the cat, and is like stuck on it, and the cat's moving. Like they're not faking that.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, I think that's the allegation, is they're not faking any of it. Like, when the raccoon and the bear fight, they just let a raccoon and a bear have a fight.
Yeah. Well, and you kind of wonder, like, if they get into the situation on their own, is it cruelty? I mean, like.
Sure, but they weren't put in the situation on their own.
Well, but yeah, I don't.
They put a fish in between a raccoon and a bear and had them fight over it.
Is there a situation where it wouldn't be cruelty? Like if the cat is wandering by the water and the crab is there and we just happen to film it. I don't,
right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Can you make an argument like that? Like, we didn't plan that. That cat literally just found a crab and we happen to put the camera on it.
Yeah.
Like, does it become cruelty when you observe it and don't do anything to stop it?
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm not saying that that's what happened. I'm just
right.
I'm sort of like, what if?
And then what's the level? Yeah. Like if you observe two animals in conflict and one of them hurts the other and you filmed it and you didn't do anything to stop it. Yeah. Where does that rank? Certainly below forcing those two animals to fight and harm each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you just observed it in nature, because I mean that happens all the time in nature documentaries, and that's all about
the lions attacking the wildebeest. Well, I mean that's we were talking when we talked about Biloxi Blues about writers or photographers, filmmakers. Do they just observe or do they get involved? Right. And you hear all the time about photojournalists who see someone who's really injured or, being attacked or whatever, and they take a picture and then they help.
Yeah.
And they're ethically like, what are you?
Yeah. And there always used to be that line they would use on America's Funniest Videos, or it might have been America's Funniest People, put the camera down and help the, whatever. Like the guy gets hit in the nuts with a football and you keep filming. Like, put the camera down and help the guy with that.
Or you see people, my toddler covered everything in Vaseline and I took a picture first instead of cleaning up. Like, what? Why? But.
Yes. Well, we'll leave that for a much more serious and well-listened podcast to figure out.
That's like a PhD thesis level thing. We are not there. No. So.
I mean, this is a pretty simple movie. I don't know that there's a ton to talk about. I mean, I think the biggest thing is, which we've touched on, is Dudley Moore. Great performance.
Yeah.
Like just he's one of those guys where, he's got a few roles that people know him for. He popped up in a lot of stuff in the 80s. Arthur, of course, is his big thing. And
that's kind of that's a little raunchy, right?
I think so.
I think I've
definitely seen Arthur, but I don't remember.
I don't think I've ever seen Dudley Moore in anything, but the little I know about Arthur, raunchy was my takeaway.
I mean,
so I was like, really?
He's uncouth, if you will.
There you go.
Like certainly he's someone would clutch a handkerchief and be
me. I would clutch a handkerchief.
Someone I don't know. I'm just envisioning like a proper British lady.
I have a handkerchief. That I could clutch.
Yes, please do.
And pearls too.
Nice. But also, I know him from my favorite Dudley Moore role, which is in Santa Claus the Movie. Which is great, and we will watch at some point on this podcast.
Okay.
It is like a super serious, but also not serious Christmas movie about a genius elf who feels underappreciated and leaves to work with a toy company, and then finds out, that the toy company is all in it for the money, and yada yada yada. The toy company is basically trying to like replace Santa, but they're, he finds out, they're all doing it for profit and whatever, and they're slandering Santa's name or whatever. We'll have to watch it. It's it's one of those movies that's just like, wow. They just made movies in the 80s like that were just like, they just took a subject that you would normally like apply fluff to. Like you would expect Santa Claus the movie to be like a Santa Claus with Tim Allen kind of. Look, they're making a movie about Santa Claus. Why would it be dark at all? Like, no, it's a commentary on the evils of capitalism.
Of course it is.
You know,
Sure.
wrapped up in holiday movie.
You see how effective it was.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So might as well.
But yeah, that's my favorite. When they took Dudley Moore, who is slight of stature, and said, what if he was an elf? And they made him an elf. Yeah, but he does great. He does great in this movie. And yeah, just they throw so much at him, and he finds so many different voices. He's really like a audiobook reader in this. You know, he has a new voice for every character, and you know, just thumbs up, Dudley Moore. I don't know if you're still alive or not, but congratulations.
You know who he sounded like in this? And this came to mind because we've been watching the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. He sounded like Ewan McGregor. So I'm imagining Milo and Otis too, voiced by Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
I don't know how good Ewan McGregor is with the voices.
But I don't know. He can do the Alec Guinness voice pretty good.
Yeah.
Hello there. But yeah, we'll see with the rest. Anything else you want to mention about this movie?
This is super cute.
Yeah, it's super cute.
Oh my gosh. The whole time I was,
yeah, for sure. And you know, you hear about all the cruelty allegations and you're like, oh, I feel bad for loving this.
Yeah.
But it's still super cute. Like,
it was, yeah.
Like there's one thing to hate the cruelty, and there's another thing to then like, there's some amount of justice in people watching the end product and enjoying it, because if not, then all that suffering was for nothing.
Yeah.
You know, if you just let it disappear into history, then what was all that for?
Well, I don't know if I buy that argument really in the long run.
I don't know if I buy it either.
Kind of what we have told our son when you happen across those compilations of cats reacting to cucumbers and that kind of thing, and we laugh hysterically, and I say it's mean to do that.
Yeah. And he goes, "Let's get a cucumber."
Yeah, we're like, no. We draw the line.
Yeah, that stresses the cat. That's not appropriate.
Perhaps our ethics are lacking, and we should say no. We're not going to consume this at all.
Right.
But it's so cute.
It is
so cute.
It is super cute. Like, yeah. And this movie, of course, is in the tradition of the other 80s movies like Homeward Bound. And there was another one. What was the other one?
Natty Gann had a dog. But it was a human adventure.
Right.
With the
Homeward Bound is the one where there's like a boxer and it's voiced by Michael J. Fox, I think.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, there were several, and there's Benji, and there's all these other movies from the 80s, like there's sort of like a moment in animal film, which is kind of really Babe is like the divider.
I was about to say, yeah, the difference is in Babe, the mouths moved.
Right.
In this, they do not. So if the mouths creeped you out, you're good.
The mouths move, and sometimes the animals aren't real because the mouths move, because they need them to talk.
Yeah.
So sometimes Babe is a puppet, and sometimes the duck is a puppet in Babe.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. The duck especially, I think, is a puppet pretty often. Yeah. So, there's like that to me is the dividing line. Like after that, every movie that was going to have animals in it that were going to talk. You know, you get your Air Buds, which I don't know, maybe Air Bud eventually talked, or like Beethoven eventually, maybe in the many, many subsequent Air Bud sequels, the dogs, in fact, I think in Air Buddies, which is like basketball playing puppies, pretty positive that they talk in Air Buddies.
I am proud that I've never seen a single minute of either of those.
Not even Air Bud, like the original Air Bud. Oh, it's a dog that plays basketball. There's Marion. There's nothing in the rule books against a dog playing basketball.
I've heard that.
Do you understand?
I have heard
perfectly
that.
Legal because it's not explicitly illegal. There's no rule that says only humans can play basketball.
That's true.
So the dog can play.
I hear. All right? The guy who made that argument is on the Supreme Court now.
He is right. Yeah. Or he's arguing before it. Yeah. So there's this dividing line for me, and this fits into that category of just highly trained animals with humans speaking while their mouths don't move. This also goes into Look Who's Talking territory. I'm pretty sure. I feel like in subsequent Look Who's Talking's the baby's mouths moved, but in the first one it didn't.
Well, when they're toddlers and they're talking to each other.
Sure,
but when it's in the initial, it's just his thoughts.
It's baby thoughts. Bruce Willis baby thoughts.
I cannot claim to have not seen any of that. I'm afraid I have seen at least the first one.
Great. This is in that camp of the original sort of talking animal movies, pre-puppetry, pre-CGI. Nowadays, you got your Lions Kings, and your all your other Disney movies where animals, Jungle's Books, and all those other movies. So this I always like to come back to these movies where it is, and I think Will hit on something without being too philosophical. Like, there's just something nice about the animals' mouths not moving, and they're just regular animals, and somebody's talking, and words are being attributed to the animals and thoughts and things, but it's just the animals. They're just there. Like, it's just fun.
It feels a little more creative, or like you appreciate the patience that it would take to, like, I think they probably do it the other way. They write lines to match the expressions on the faces that they have, but you could also imagine, like, well, okay, we want to say this. Okay, we got to wait until the animal has a face that would go with that line. Like, it's so the patience that's involved in this. Oh yeah, you have to appreciate that.
It's a storybook quality. Like, it really is, because it's like it's a narrator, and it really literally is a narrator. So there's a sort of a storybook quality to it. Yeah,
it's super cute.
It's super cute. Yeah. So yeah, watch The Adventures of Milo and Otis if you deem it ethically viable for your particular stance on things.
And if you can handle up close animal births.
Yeah. I mean, watch it for that, if nothing else. For sure. For that and the deer.
Yeah, the deer is pretty good.
I think that's pretty much The Adventures of Milo and Otis. It's a simple movie. It's just fun and cute, and there's not a lot to say about it.
Yeah, and it's short.
It is short. It's like 76 minutes,
so,
I think.
Yeah. So despite the ethical issues, we deem it worth your time. What that says about us, I don't know.
That's horrible people.
Possibly. But folks, we would love to know what you think. You can drop us a line. If you want to tell us that we're horrible people for watching this, you can do that. If you want to write fan mail to Will, he would really love that. You can email us, you can tweet at us, you can reach us on Facebook. Our handle is the same for all three. It's YSMY Podcast, YSMY for You Show Me Yours. Tweet at us or send us a DM on Twitter. The email is at gmail.com, and find us on Facebook. And on our Twitter feed and our Facebook feed, you can get links to the latest episodes right there, plus sometimes fun links and other things that we find. You can follow us there too, or you can follow us on most of your major podcast providers. Follow, subscribe, whatever the parlance is. And if you do any of those, that helps more people find the podcast, which is great. You can also rate and review us on the platforms, which also helps people find out about us. Do you see a theme here? We are spreading the word, spreading the love. We have new episodes every 2 weeks, every other Wednesday. So that means 2 weeks from today, you'll get a new episode right in your queue if you subscribe. And in 2 weeks, I am going to be hosting, and I didn't do this on purpose, really, but the movie that we're going to watch is The Truth About Cats and Dogs.
I see what you did there.
This does not involve talking animals.
Damn it.
But it does involve animals.
Okay.
And Janine Garofalo and Uma Thurman. And this is a movie that I saw on a first date, and it was awkward.
Cool.
And I'll explain why in 2 weeks when we watch The Truth About Cats and Dogs. But in the meantime, this has been You Show Me Yours. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye. The You Show Me Yours theme song is Uplifting Electronic Indie by Winnie the Moog from filmmusic.io.